Happy GA Recap Monday! I am so excited to recap the episode of the Texas Horror Hotel, which was also the season finale of Ghost Adventures for season 10. But first things first, we need to have a talk. I have, until further notice, disbanded the hoodie because it is 65 and sunny here in Missouri, folks, and I am taking full advantage of this weather. I am not going to encourage Mother Nature to hang around anymore and dump snow and cold and crap on me. So I have busted out the t-shirts, I have busted open the sunroof on the car, I have washed and detailed her because it was nasty. She was gross. So much so that I'm pretty sure had I pulled onto the Hyundai dealership the other day when I drove by it, that they would have been like, here's a brand new Accord, we'll take your old one, forget it. But it is clean, it is happy, therefore I am happy, and I am ready to bring a fantastic video for you guys today. So here we go, because like I said, we have a lot to cover in what I hope to be a short amount of time, but this one's gonna be hard to do because there's just so much going on. So here we go, ready? The GAC went to Seguin, Texas, to the Magnolia Hotel, which Zach referred to as the Loftus Hall of Texas. Now, if you remember the Halloween episode, Loftus Hall is one of the areas that they investigated that was said to have the devil himself, like, sleep there. Are you kidding? I knew right then when Zach made that reference that this was going to be a damn good lockdown, and boy, was I right. Whew! Now, as always, we're going to give you a brief little bit of history, talk about some of the spirits that are there, and then I'm going to break down the lockdown, and I will get into how I'm going to do that in just a few minutes. A little bit of history. The building originally started as a log cabin that was built in 1840 by one of the founders of Seguin, James Campbell. However, he didn't get to hang out there long, like make many family memories and do a lot of stuff because some Indians came in and scalped him alive. Hot, right? I know. And stabbed him 27 times. Friendly place. Let me tell you, Seguin's friendly. Like it's, are you kidding? No, just no. So the tour was headed up by Erin, who is the tour guide of the building, and she starts the tour after giving them that little bit of brief history in Itzy's room. Now, Itzy was a little girl who lived in the hotel with her mom. Her mom was a single mom. And when she would be working, Itzy would have to stay at the hotel by herself because she couldn't afford babysitting. So her mom would lock her in there. And when Itzy would get scared, there was like this little cupboard that was against the wall, and she would climb in there. And so now you hear that cupboard door slam all the time, and that's simply Itzy getting in and out of that cupboard because she's scared. The creepiest part of that scene was they started playing the song, the Itsy Bitsy Spider. I will never in my life sing that song again because the way that they played it and the little girl that they showed in there, oh hell no. No, scared me to death. I was done. I was like, are you kidding me? I'm sorry, but nothing is creepier than creepy little kids. I mean, I'm a mother, and like my kids sometimes give me looks that like give me the creeps. And so this little girl, they had her like dark-eyed, circled, no. I was just done. I was like, can we not talk about that anymore? Hashtag creepy. Creepy. They then go to the hotel's basement, which also served as an Indian raid shelter. So like when James Campbell's family was being attacked by the Indians, when he got scalped, all his wife and whoever went out in the raid shelter to be protected while James, well, we all know how it went for him. And there's like a shadow figure that's been seen down there, and it's just, again, hashtag creepy. However, the next room that they talk about is probably one of the creepiest ones for many reasons. It's actually, they call it the pink bathroom, and it's where Erin tells the story of this woman who was a teenager who got pregnant, and she was like from a prominent family, and it was going to be a big shame to her family. So she actually committed suicide by trying to do her own abortion. It ended up killing her and the baby in the bathtub of this bathroom. Now, when you get in there, Zach's face kind of just loses all color. And I'm thinking, what is he thinking? What's he feeling? I'm thinking, okay, he's an empath. He's feeling the emotion. He's sad, expected. No. Come to find out, the bathroom where the girl who committed suicide in his apartment in Michigan, his bathroom was pink and black. What a dark-ass deja vu coincidence. That is creepy. Like, and you can see Zach is like bothered by it, and Erin's even like, whoa, dude, that's weird. You know, like, what the hell's going on? Because here you have two different women commit suicide in two different bathtubs, but both of the bathrooms are pink and black. Like, only in Zach's world would that happen. right? Right. Whew. Then they get to William's room. Now, William Faust was a man who was living in the hotel in July of 1876 while he was estranged from his wife who was living with a friend. On July 22nd, William decides, oh, I've had enough of this, and just goes over to this friend's house and proceeds to hack who he thought was his wife to death with an axe, when in all reality, his wife had switched rooms with the friend's little girl, Emma, and he was actually hacking Emma to death. So now he had the blood of a little girl on his hands, and he gave one final swing to his wife, hitting her in the face, blinding her with the axe, and now he's still angry and pissed off, and Emma's unsettled, so they're both haunting the Magnolia, but William likes to pinch women and scratch their eyeballs, because that's going to get you a date, right? That's like on my top priority list. Like, that's what I look for in a guy. I don't do crazy, and I don't do abusive. Sorry. We then find ourselves on the road with the guys, which is not typical. You're typically like interview, boom, lockdown. But they were in the car, and Zach, of course, as you all know, is huge on Twitter, and he simply tweets, hey, San Antonio, I'm here to find your ghost. Well, as in true Twitter fashion, Twitter blows up, and they start giving him all of these answers about where there are ghosts in San Antonio, and one of which are these train tracks. So the guys are like, oh, intrigued. So they go to these train tracks, and the story is that there was a bus of little kids that got killed on the train tracks by a speeding train. And the legend of the train tracks is that if you put your car in neutral, douse it with baby powder on the back of your car, you can actually see fingerprints of these little kids push your car uphill over the train tracks into safety. So of course the guys are like, I'm all in on this. So they do it in true GAC fashion to debunk this myth by spraying one side of their glass with glass cleaner and the other side leaving it dirty where there's obvious fingerprints from them like slamming the back hatch of the Yukon. So they clean one side and leave one side, and then they douse it all with baby powder. So they put it in neutral, and sure enough, the car starts to like roll up the hill and over, and so then they pull it off to the side and they get out of the car, and you can see the fingerprints of one, but on the clean side, there's no fingerprints, and so they're like, well, that's weird, so this is pretty much debunked. Like, when people see fingerprints, it's the fingerprints that are already on your car from the natural oil on your hands, debunked, right? But now they need to try to figure out why the car goes uphill on its own. So they bring in a professional surveyor who actually checks the grade of the road, and believe it or not, it's an optical illusion where you are appearing to go uphill, but you're actually going downhill about a foot, hence why your car will move on its own in neutral. This myth has been debunked. Hashtag sorry, not sorry. Now it's time for lockdown. Yay, lockdown! Now, typically I just kind of give you the rundown of the lockdown, what happened, where things happened, yada, yada, yada. Today, I decided to do a little something different and break it down by teams because Aaron and Zach went on lockdown in the Magnolia Hotel while Billy and Jay did a lockdown of their own instead of being at Nerve Center. So we are going to start with Aaron and Zach's lockdown. We're going to discuss briefly the equipment they used and the evidence they collected. And then we'll do the same for Billy and Jay, just to switch it up a little bit, yo. So as far as Aaron and Zach's lockdown goes, they were locked down in the Magnolia Hotel on the main floor and the second floor of the hotel. The equipment they used throughout their lockdown was the full spectrum camera, the infrared camera, the digital recorder, and the SLS camera, which is the structured light sensor camera that maps like the little Kinect people on it that kind of freak me out every time I see it. Now, the evidence they collected was a handful of bangs, like bangs from the freaking wall and from the floor and from the ceiling and from the pits of hell, I'm sure. Dragging noises. They also had a temperature drop, and that was kind of creepy because the temperature dropped conveniently to a 66.6 degrees. Of course it did, right? Right. Then they map a little person on the SLS camera, like on a bookshelf. That was creepy. We're guessing it was Emma, the little girl that was murdered by William. And Zach and Aaron's lockdown wins the best piece of evidence for the show because they are going to get a chair to put the SLS camera on, to like tripod it onto. So Aaron goes and grabs his chair. He grabs it by the top of the chair, right? And he sits it on the floor. He then goes back to do something to get the camera, and when he turns back around, well, he runs into the chair. That doesn't fare him very well because he ends up hurting himself. Yes, I giggled. Shouldn't have. I know it hurts, but it was funny. But the best piece of evidence from that whole situation was as Zach's running like the SLS, or Aaron rather, is running the SLS camera, like those beaded lights that come on, you can see a distinct handprint in the seat of the chair with 4 distinct fingers, like someone's pushing the chair down. And Aaron then realizes that when he bumped the chair did not move. It was almost as if someone was holding the chair in place to like try to hurt Aaron. Like William may have been holding the chair in place to try to hurt him. And it was just so incredibly cool and creepy, and I felt bad for Aaron because he got hurt, but it was just like they tried to debunk it, they tried to figure it out, and they couldn't, and you could see like the excitement in Zach's face, like they high-fived after, like, dude, that's cool. And it was just one of those pieces of evidence that like people live for, because it was a clear handprint, and then after a few seconds it was gone, and we all seen on the video how Aaron picked up the chair. Zach was nowhere near the chair. Who put the handprint in the chair? So, best piece of evidence of the entire episode goes to Zach and Aaron's lockdown and the mysterious handprint. Now, for Billy and Jay's portion of the lockdown, they locked down 2 different places, which was the Adobe house across the street from the Magnolia Hotel, and they also went to the Magnolia Hotel basement where that Indian raid shelter was at. And for the portion of the lockdown for the Adobe house, they actually met up with a girl named Tanisha, who was an ancestor of a fortune teller that used to tell fortunes in that home back in the 1800s. And she was hoping to kind of make contact with her and have an experience with her, and so they took her in there to try to make contact. Now, the equipment that they used was the SB7 Spirit Box. I love that little thing. It is kind of annoying to like listen to as it goes and like running through the frequencies, but the evidence they get with it is like hella cool, so I'm down. And they also used a really cool piece of equipment called the magnetic microphone device, which was created by, surprise, surprise, Bill Chappell, and it emits electromagnetic energy and a magnet to help attract the spirits to get them to communicate. Now, the way that they communicated with the spirits in this episode was they used the yes-no communication method, meaning one's for yes, 2 for no. And they actually got several responses, intelligent responses from the machine. So, props to you, dude. Now, they also, Jay and Tanisha got pushed like in the exact same spot, and it was like blatantly obvious. They like leaned forward, and I just legit almost fell off this bench, and I would have died if that happened. So thank God for quick cat-like reflexes. For once, I saved myself. They then go into another room to get Tanisha after they had left her there for a while to like make communication, and they hear loud banging from the room that they just left. So that was all the evidence that they got over there. And then they go over to the Magnolia Hotel, into the basement to the Indian raid shelter, say goodbye to Tanisha, and Billy and Jay go down there. They are there 5 minutes, and Billy is like, whoa, 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 what's that, what's that? And they see this set of eyes, like in the back of and they're like, oh, never mind, it's a raccoon. I lost my, because they are sitting there legit staring down this raccoon. And Billy's like, dude, I don't want to be down here. Like, I don't want to be down here. And Jay's like, yeah, I don't want to be down here with like a raccoon in like a basement that was built in like the 1800s. I mean, raccoons will tear you up. Like if they are threatened, they will legit gouge your eyeballs out. So I think they were more terrified of the raccoon than of any spirit that could possibly be down there. But they had like this epic stare down to end all stare downs, and I giggled incessantly. And then the raccoon just kind of scuttled away into this little hole, and they proceeded with their lockdown where they hear like what appears to be like footsteps coming to them on a hardwood floor, but they're like on a dirt floor, and then something like rushes Jay, and he is literally shaken up. Like this is the first time that we've ever really seen Jay and Billy like investigate on their own, just the 2 of them, and they were like legit shaken up. And so that is really all that they got for their evidence, because it kind of went back and forth pretty quick. But then they go to leave the basement, like the raccoon comes back and he's like, no, this is my home, bitch, leave. So they're like, you know what, they didn't feel like getting rabies, and I really didn't blame them, so they decide this is it. And typically I don't have like a most painful moment of the episode, but today I do, because poor Jay Wasley had kept tweeting all night during the live tweet, I hate that basement. Did I mention I hate that basement? And throughout the episode, we didn't know why, until they go to leave the basement. When his little butt is walking up the stairs and pulls a Rachel and falls down the stairs as he's opening the basement door, only for the basement door to come slamming back down on his head, and his hand actually goes clean through the door. Something I totally would have done. Like that's exactly what would have happened to me without missing a beat, because I am the world's biggest klutz. Hence exhibit A, I just about fell off this bench 5 seconds ago. And I'm sitting here. I can't even sit down without, trying to hit the floor. I felt so bad, and my heart literally went like, I literally did one of these, like hold the dash, slam on the brakes moment, because I was like, oh my God, is Jay hurt? And you could tell that he was like hurting bad, but he bucked up, true GAC fashion, kept soldiering on, made sure nothing was broken, he wasn't bleeding. And then they all met up at the end of the episode to do a short spirit box session, which they got some really good evidence, and they got the words play, an unexplained voice of like a female voice, William, help, John, we contact, and you. And Aaron is obviously feeling the effects of this. He was like getting dizzy and blacking out. And so they were obviously making contact with something. So that's all I have for GA Recap Monday. And ladies and gentlemen, that is a wrap on season 10 of Ghost Adventures. But don't worry, I will be back next Monday to recap the brand new episode of Ghost Adventures Aftershocks after it premieres on the Travel Channel, 9/8 Central. But before I go, I was notified on Friday by one of our wonderful members, Kathy Drake, that her and her son watch my videos together when he comes to visit on the weekends, and that he was crushing on me a little bit. I know that she told me that just to embarrass the crap out of him, because he's 10 years old. And what 10-year-old boy is not going to be embarrassed by his mother when she throws him under the bus? But I thought it was absolutely adorable, and so I told Kathy that I would give her son a very big shout out in today's video. I'm holding true to my promise, so I want to say hi to Christopher. I hope you are having a fantastic week. I hope that you are enjoying your school week, and I hope that you enjoy this video with your mom on Friday. I am sending you guys all of my love and my hugs and my well wishes. As for the rest of you wonderful members, I will be back tomorrow for GAQA Tuesday. I am taking your questions now over on the Facebook page, so hit me up with all of your Ghost Adventures related questions to have a chance to have them in tomorrow's video. Until then, stay happy, stay healthy, stay warm if it's cold, enjoy the sunshine if it's not. I know I am. I'm headed to the gym. I will see you guys tomorrow for GAQA Tuesday. Much love and happiness.